Let's talk about grief for a second. Firstly, we're going through a massive collective shift right now. All the shadows of the world, all of the structures that are not in highest alignment, they are crumbling. And with this comes a big grief process. There's also a lot of people getting sick right now. There's a lot of souls that won't make it through this big shift, and they've chosen not to. And I think it can be so easy to try and bypass the grief. It can be so easy to love and light your way through that depth of emotion. The thing about grief is a key code. Grief is literally a key to embody more love. I have two stories for you that have powerful medicine in them. So I remember doing a ceremony almost exactly a year ago. And in that ceremony, I asked to embody more love so I could bring that frequency to a greater degree to everything in my life, to my friendships, to my clients, to my work, to my family, to my partnership. And in that ceremony, I got brought back to a moment where my dog got stolen and I grieved, but I didn't fully process it. Now, that ceremony was done with a false light community that I didn't realize that at the time. So what happened is as I start to go to that portal of grief and allow myself to finally just surrender to that and expand to greater levels of love, they told me to shh, be quiet, stop crying. That's the false light. Secondly, I remember reading a book about a year ago exactly today, and it talked about grief being a key code to greater levels of love. Little did I know I was about to go through a breakup with deep grieving twice, because I grieved the relationship and then I grieved the illusion of what had been in front of me. And none of it made sense until I went through the second grief portal, where I saw all the lies and distortions and everything I thought to be true, that it was all a lie. So I grieved the distortion. Through that process, I literally embodied so many more codes of love. There was medicine in that grief. And it was one of the most intense periods of my life. Last night, I was given some news about somebody really close to me and some serious health issues they'd been going through. And we are waiting for some more tests to see how bad it is. And for the first time in my life, I allowed myself to grieve right off the bat. I don't know if this person is, how long they're gonna make it. I don't know if they're gonna make it through this illness. We don't know how severe the illness is yet. And there was all of these, for those of you who know the law of previews, all of these previews about people in a similar situation. And I lost it. I literally just bawled for 2 hours. And at first, I was so angry at God. I was angry because about 2 years ago, someone in my family got diagnosed with cancer. And I went to a grief process there, but I didn't let myself fully feel it because I was scared. They are healthy today. Then last year at this time, I went through that big breakup, and I was so angry and I was so confused, and none of it made sense except this deep inner knowing that that's exactly what needed to happen. And in retrospect, that's exactly what needed to happen. There was deep medicine in that. There was deep medicine in the relationship. There was deep medicine in who I became in that relationship. And the soul contract was done. And after that, a lot was revealed. And then this got dropped on me. And I was like, are you joking me, God? Like, source, what the actual F? And I was angry. And then I allowed myself to grieve. And in that, there was deep medicine. There was a beauty in the grief. There was a beauty in being present with this person for a few hours and laughing and crying and just full presence. And I remembered, everything I went through in that breakup carved me into the version I am today. It allowed me to create mastery in clearing dark forces. It allowed me to understand these narcissistic pathology and the illusions and the lies to such deep nuances. It's allowed me to help so many more people. It's allowed me to see where my wounds were and actually heal them at the core. It's allowed me to embody more love, more wisdom. It's allowed me to be more present, to have more compassion. And this morning I woke up and I went for a run with my dog and I looked at the flowers and I cried. I'm like, whoa, the presence that grief can bring and the remembrance that yes, we create our reality. Yes, we are manifestors. And there are things in this realm that we can't control. Death is one of them. The soul chooses when it will come in and when it will pass. It chooses its parents. It chooses its trauma for very specific reasons that don't make sense unless we follow the soul path. There is a power, God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, that is greater than us. It's within us and it's all around us. And there are things that we cannot manifest ourselves. We can't manifest somebody living longer on this planet. And as good as I am at manifestation, it hit me last night when I was like, wow, this person, they're so at peace if it is their time to go. And I found myself being selfish and being like, I'm not ready for you to go. And then I remembered last year around this time where I was like manifesting this relationship still working when it had the contract was done. It was over the time period we were supposed to be together. It was done and I finally surrendered. And in that surrender, in me finally holding standards, in me choosing myself, it had to dissolve. It couldn't fit me choosing myself. It couldn't fit God's plan, source's plan. Yes, I could have manifested holding on to it, but that would have been dishonoring to me and my soul path. And these moments where there's people who we deeply love and their choice in when they chose to pass, and that's not our choice. Yes, they can choose to fight. They can choose to fight and overcome an illness. And they can choose not to. That is one of the hardest things, but there's also such a beauty in just allowing the grief to move through you. There is life in that. You start to embody a greater frequency of love, compassion, of presence with the time you have with these people or these animals. You start to realize that we're not invincible, that our souls live forever. And witnessing this person be like, if it's my time, it's my time. And I'm so at peace because they know that there's a greater power. They know our souls never die, only in physical form. So, and because of this, some of the spiritual community will try and bypass. They will say, oh, love and light, it's meant to be. And yes, it is. But that doesn't take away from the depth of grief that we get to experience. That is an honoring of that person, of that relationship, of that vision, of that version of you that you've let die on a cellular level so you can embody a new version. So there are a lot of people getting sick right now. I have a lot of clients and friends who have close family members in and out of the hospitals, with things that have just all of a sudden manifested, and we are going through a big shift. And as I said, not everybody is going to make it. And the lesson I want you to take from this transmission is that you get to honor that grief, because if you don't, you're bypassing. And if you don't, you're not honoring that person's life. And if you don't, you are losing the opportunity to become more love, to expand your capacity to feel, to be, to experience the highs of the high, because if you numb any emotion, you numb all emotions. To allow life to penetrate you and to fully be present with this person and to fully honor those moments and those times. And a reminder that we can connect with these energies when they do pass. But don't use that as an excuse to bypass the grief, because that is the false light, that is the trap. I love you.